So, guys, it seems like the ANC is living in denial. And I'm saying that because in a couple of days, the parliament will be voting on that unpopular budget of the ANC, the VAT increased budget of the ANC. And despite political parties saying that they don't want anything to do with that budget of the ANC, the VAT increased budget of the ANC, the ANC is quite positive that the budget is going to pass. So as I'm sitting here, I'm just wondering, what trick is the ANC going to pull this time around? Because we have the political parties on record saying that they are not going to support that budget of the ANC. And all the political parties with the big numbers have said that they don't want anything to do with that budget of the ANC. And the ANC themselves, they did say that if the DA is not going to support them on this budget, they are going to consult with other political parties outside of the GNU to ensure that the budget passes. So what does this actually mean? What does this actually mean? Because I saw a clip of the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, actually being questioned about this whole thing of the ANC, and the man is quite positive that the budget is going to pass. So how is the ANC going to pass the budget when political parties have actually said that they don't want anything to do with this VAT increased budget of the ANC? So I'm just thinking, and are political parties, or did political parties actually lie to the people of this country and have actually made concessions with the ANC? Because this is the only way that the ANC can actually pass the budget. Because if you look at Ramaphosa, if you look at his demeanor, the guy is quite positive that no, you guys are just stressing over nothing. The budget is going to pass. Just look at this man.
The DA has its FedEx meeting today. They'll possibly discuss their future in the GNU. Are you concerned? Are you worried?
Well, it's their right to discuss whatever participation they want to have in the GNU. And as it is, our right as well. So they are an independent organization and they are free to discuss these things. But obviously they must put the interests of the country first rather than their own interests.
So with or without them, the budget will pass?
Oh, the budget is going to pass. Yes, it is passing.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Just look at how confident Ramaphosa is that, yeah, the budget is going to pass. The budget is going to pass. So which political parties actually lied to the people of this country and said that they are not going to support the ANC, but knowing very well that they are going to support the ANC? Which political parties have actually made concessions with the ANC? Because if Ramaphosa knew for a fact that the political parties are not going to support the ANC on this budget, there is no way that he would just go out positively so and saying that the budget is going to pass. The budget is going to pass, and he's not even worried about the Democratic Alliance. And if you look at the GNU, the DA is the biggest partner of the ANC in the GNU, and they have already said that they are not going to support this budget. So which political parties have actually made concessions? And I think this is something that South Africans actually should pay close attention to. A political party that is going to support the ANC on this budget should be hated by the people of this country. It should be hated by the people of this country, because that political party is going to bring misery to the people of this country, not only the poor people, because normally when people talk about the budget and the fact that the ANC wants to raise the VAT, they always say that no, the poor people are going to suffer. Even the middle class is going to suffer. Even the middle class is going to suffer, meaning that all South Africans are going to suffer. All South Africans are going to suffer. But I'm looking at the attitude of the ANC in these past couple of days. It seems like these people actually have a trick under their sleeve. It seems like these people have a trick under their sleeve, man. I'm starting not to undermine these people. I used to undermine these people and say that, guys, this budget is going to fail. We are going on an early election. This budget is going to fail. But the demeanor of these people of the ANC, I'm quite worried about them. I'm quite worried about them.
ANC says it will engage with parties until the 11th hour to get the budget passed in the National Assembly. The 0.5 percentage point VAT hike and the Expropriation Act have created an impasse between the ANC and the DA. Now, the ANC says the GNU statement of intent doesn't bar it from negotiating with non-member parties to get it over the line. But the DA says this will spell the end of the GNU if the ANC seals a deal with parties outside of it.
And you remember that last time this story was on the news. The EFF said that they are willing to negotiate with the ANC, but they are not willing to accept a VAT increased budget. They are willing to negotiate with the ANC, but the ANC should kick out the DA outside of the GNU. If the ANC kicks out the DA outside of the GNU, the EFF is willing to have negotiations with the ANC about the budget, but they are not going to support a budget that actually has a VAT increase. So, is this what these people are actually playing at? Are they trying to push the DA outside of the GNU? Because if you look at the EFF and if you look at Umkhonto Party, they've said kind of similar things. We are not going to support a VAT increased budget, but we are willing to have negotiations with the ANC if only the ANC kicks out the DA outside of the GNU. And right now, you have the DA saying that, no, if the ANC starts to have negotiations with the people outside of the GNU, then the DA is going to drop out outside of the GNU. So does this mean that we are going to have that coalition that the people were scared of the whole time? You remember that coalition of the ANC, EFF and Umkhonto Party? Are we heading to that direction? Because this is a threat that the DA has actually made, that if the ANC speaks with other political parties outside of the GNU, then it will be the end of the GNU. And if that is the end of the GNU, political parties like the EFF and Umkhonto Party will be happy to join the GNU. So are we heading to that coalition that people were actually scared of? Are we heading to that coalition? And what kind of concessions that coalition is going to make? What kind of concessions that coalition is going to make? I think this is something that we should actually pay very close attention to. We should pay very close attention to.
Our reporter Pulile Tweety Jones has more.
The future of the GNU will be determined by the support the ANC lobbies to pass the national budget's fiscal framework on Wednesday. The DA meanwhile maintains that it won't work with a party that seeks support outside of the GNU. The party says it won't budge on scrapping the 0.5 percentage point VAT hike and amending the Expropriation Act, among other issues.
We're not interested in clamping down on corruption, which could easily loosen up cash that we can replace with a 0.5%. And because of that, we told them, that they told us essentially that they wanted to then seek other political parties outside of the GNU to help them support the budget. And that is ludicrous. You can't be in the GNU with us and go seek the help of the EFFs. And that means the relationship is over.
However, the ANC...
I mean, like, I feel like at this point, the ANC will be willing to do that. The ANC will be willing to do that because if you look at the DA has actually allowed the ANC to implement some of these radical policies and did absolutely nothing about it. But when it comes to the budget, the DA actually has the ANC by the scrotum. And the ANC hates the fact that they cannot move inside the GNU, especially with something so important as the budget, because the DA has actually chokehold them at the corner. So the ANC is willing to drop the DA. They are willing to drop the DA. So the DA can actually scream that, no, it is ludicrous for you guys to actually speak with the EFF when you are in the GNU with us. But the ANC understands that as long as we are in the GNU with the DA is not going to let us go. They are not going to let us go. So I think that the ANC is willing to drop the relations with the DA. I feel like at this point the ANC is willing to drop the relations with the DA, because one thing about the ANC is that the ANC have never actually gotten to understand that they have not won the elections. If there's one thing that the ANC has not understood, is the fact that they have lost the elections. The ANC still believes that they have won the elections. The ANC still believes that they should be making laws. The ANC still believes that they are a majority political party. So right now they have a political party that is not willing to allow them to do as they please. And they are not happy about that, because you are speaking about the people that have been in charge of this country for the past 30 years. And these people have been doing things as they please. But right now they cannot do things as they please. Why? It's because the DA is in the GNU, and the DA right now is not letting them go on this budget thing. And right now they feel like they are being embarrassed because they believe that they are governing the country alone. They believe that they should be making the laws alone. So I honestly believe that the ANC is willing to let go of the DA. The ANC is willing to let go of the DA. And the DA is making the threat that if you speak with other people outside of the GNU, then we are going to leave the GNU. So it is going to open a huge gap for Umkhonto we Sizwe Party and the EFF. It is going to open a huge gap. And it says a lot about the DA, because you remember that during the campaigning season, the DA said that we need to stop the doomsday coalition. We need to stop this coalition of the ANC, Umkhonto we Sizwe Party and the EFF. We need to do everything in our power to stop the doomsday coalition. But right now, it seems like the doomsday coalition is coming. It seems like the doomsday coalition is coming, and it seems like the DA has actually failed to stop the doomsday coalition. Because if you are going to threaten to go outside of the GNU, you understand that it is going to open a huge gap for Umkhonto we Sizwe Party and the EFF. And if you are not going to leave the GNU, the ANC is going to be frustrated with you. This is the situation that is happening right now. This is the situation that is happening right now.
ANC asserts it will not change its principles and redress policies. The party says come hell or high water, the budget will cross the line.
We do make the point. We are not only limited to the parties that are in the GNU, principally the DA and the Freedom Front Plus, because out of the total members of the GNU, it is those parties that have raised reservations around the 0.5%. So we said,
I mean, like, stop lying. It is not only the DA and the Freedom Front Plus that have actually made the reservations. Almost all the parties in the country have actually made reservations about that 0.5. But you are just saying that it is the DA and the Freedom Front Plus. You are just playing to the gallery, but it is a lie. It is not only the DA and the Freedom Front Plus that have said that we don't want this 0.5. Other political parties have said the same. They have said the same. But I don't want to lie, guys. One thing that you need to understand is that I don't want to lie. I am quite concerned. I'm quite concerned about the positive attitude of the ANC going into this budget. I'm quite concerned that there are political parties that are going to stab South Africans in the back. I'm quite concerned
that we are going to expand that discussion and conversation to other parties. That discussion, in our view, should not threaten the stability and the existence of the GNU. We are invested in the GNU because it's our own creation. We are the ones who have put it together. And in fact, from the onset, we did make the point that we are inviting all parties to be part of the GNU. So certainly there are no parameters on who we can engage in relation to getting the budget over the line.
Day 3 of the ANC's NEC meeting on Sunday will touch on thorny issues on the international front, including the diplomatic tension between South Africa and the US. Pule Lee Treaty Jones, Boksburg, in Ekurhuleni.
So, guys, you remember that a couple of days ago, there is a clip that was actually making the rounds on the internet, and this is the Minister of Finance, the ANC Minister of Finance, Ino Godongwana, basically saying that the DA has written a letter to the president saying that they are going to support this 0.5 VAT increase if the ANC scraps these radical policies of theirs, the NHI, the Bella Bill, and the Land Expropriation Act. This is what the finance minister is saying. But the DA has actually done an interview on Newsroom Live, basically saying that the minister is lying. Because one thing I don't understand about this letter of the DA towards the president is that why can't we see that letter as the public? Why can't we see that letter as the public? Even the ANC, why can't anybody release that letter? Because the ANC is going around telling people that, guys, the DA has written a letter to the president telling the president that if you scrap Belabili, if you scrap NHI, and you scrap the Land Expropriation Act, we are willing to accept the 0.5 budget. Where is that letter? Where is that letter? Because I feel like at this point, as the people, we deserve to see that letter. We deserve to see that letter. And the GNU is actually notorious about leaking information. Why can't anybody there actually leak that letter? Why can't anybody leak that letter? Because we do need that letter. We need to see that letter. Because right now, the ANC and the DA are just going around and saying that he is lying. He is lying. She said, he said, she said, he said. Why can't they just release the letter so that we can see it ourselves as the public?
Welcome back. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has labelled the DA as disingenuous regarding their opposition to tax increases in the 2025-2026 budget. Addressing the finance committees in Parliament, Godongwana says the party had previously endorsed tax increases, including a proposed VAT hike, in exchange for wanting progressive laws that have just been put in place to be scrapped, such as the Expropriation Act. A number of political parties are standing firm and banding together to reject the proposed 0.5 percentage point increase in VAT.
Where is the DA on comma 5? The DA has sent a letter to the president accepting comma 5 in exchange for things which are outside the budget, like the Expropriation Act and so on and so on. Why am I making this statement, Chair? Is that we are more than happy to interact with Parliament and discuss the modalities if there are any changes in the budget, and that those changes be confined to a debate about the budget. We accept that the Parliament has got authority to amend the budget, but we would plead that the matters be focused on how to make this budget efficient. And in this regard, we're approaching this thing with an open mind, and we'll accept your guidance in this regard.
DA National Spokesperson Willie Okamp says this is not correct. He joins me now live. A very good evening to you, Willie. Now, you're saying what we've just heard there with the Finance Minister saying you have accepted the 0.5 VAT increase in exchange for things that are outside of the budget is incorrect. Take us back. What have you accepted, if anything, and what was the letter, if that was written to the President, saying?
Good evening, Masa. Masa, yeah, what the Minister there says is definitely not correct. He is nitpicking out of a long 13-page document that we sent to the President, in which we set out the economical growth reforms that we want to put on the table. We've mentioned quite a number of them and things that can be done immediately. So to come and nitpick about the Expropriation Act is definitely disingenuous from the Minister. It is high time that the ANC realize that they do not govern alone anymore. This document that both myself and the Minister referred to was sent to the President and the Presidency 12 days ago already. We've received feedback today on that document. And the feedback was that the President said that he does not agree with the document and that we must just simply support the budget. Now, there's absolutely no way in which we can be a common denominator in the ANC's failures. We saw over 30 years what ANC budgets looked like, how we descended from growth to a total failure when it comes to growth, a failure when it comes to job creation. And the Democratic Alliance cannot be part of that. That is why we have put on the table these reforms, which includes quite a lot of things. And if we've got time, I can go through each and every one of them. But to nitpick one item out of a 13-page document and say that we try to bring in additional issues into the budget is just not right. And just to correct the Minister, when we are talking about growth, The Expropriation Act in its current form stands slap bang in the middle, preventing economical growth. Who would want to come and invest in this country and maybe build a factory or whatever it might be that they want to invest in, knowing that government might be able to take away that property without expropriating them? The Democratic Alliance said that we must put on the table that the courts will always have the final say in determining the value of any expropriated property or property to be expropriated. It must be the court. It cannot be a government official. And secondly, nil compensation should be changed with the constitutionally accepted just and equitable. A court under the just and equitable norm can apply any compensation. But we need to change that. We need to create investor confidence in this country.
Okay,
we need to create an environment that will enable us to grow this economy.
But one thing I don't understand is that why can't you just release that letter to the public so that the people can see it by themselves? Why can't you do that? Because, okay, maybe let's give you a bit of the benefit of the doubt to say that, okay, if this is something that you have said to the president, I believe that the ANC would have actually quoted where you have actually said that we are willing to accept the 0.5 if you guys are willing to scrap these radical policies, because it is clear as day right now with what you are saying that you are not happy about these policies that the ANC has implemented. But again, you were there when the ANC implemented all of these policies, and your supporters were actually asking you a simple question: what the hell are you guys doing there, allowing the ANC to implement these policies? You said that you are going to get in governance with the ANC so that you can stop the ANC from implementing radical policies, but there you are, allowing the ANC to implement radical policies. And after the ANC have implemented the radical policies, you are coming out to say that we are not happy about these policies that the ANC has implemented. Fine, it's fine, let's put it aside. I understand if it is something that you have said to the ANC would have actually released that part. They would have released that part. But the DA on themselves, on their own, why can't they release that letter so that the people can read it by themselves? Because right now they are going by she said, he said. They are going by he said, he said. And I believe that we as the people, we actually deserve to read that letter ourselves. We deserve to read that letter ourselves. Because right now, you guys are just debating about something that we are not even in preview of. You are debating about something that we cannot even read. You are debating about something that we cannot even read.
Billy, in that 13-page document, does the DA state anything about the Expropriation Act as a tool to say, please change it the way it looks in its current form, and then we'll come and support your budget? Are you saying that if they relook at that, that you would be willing to, in and among other things? Are you saying a lot of other things?
Let me read that to you. I've got it open in front of me. It says, the Expropriation Act to be amended to align processes and sequencing to ensure the appropriate court approves compensation before a notice to appropriate has been issued, and to replace references to nil compensation with the constitutional formulation that says, in brackets, just and equitable compensation. That is to enhance investor confidence in this country, Masa. But that is one of a few. I can mention a lot of the others that we've said.
So then it's not completely incorrect, Willie, if the minister is saying that you are using things like the Expropriation Act to use as a bargaining chip, because you're saying, look, we will support you, even though when their budget was initially postponed, on your DA website, it does say that the postponement resulted from the DA's resolute opposition to the ANC's plan to hike VAT at a time when millions of South Africans are already suffering under the cost of living. So was it about the millions of South Africans who are already suffering under a tough cost of living, or was it about bargaining about other policies that you would like to see?
Masa, it was not only about the VAT, it was about a budget that is not pro-growth, a medium-term budget policy statement that must be there, must have growth and job creation measures in it. We must have cost savings.
Me, guys, I don't know. I don't know, maybe it is just me or am I slow? You guys are okay to correct me. But I feel like we are not getting a straight denial from the DA saying that we did not say that to the ANC. We did not say that the ANC must scrap all of these radical, crazy policies and we are going to support their budget. We did not say that to the ANC. We are not getting this. We are getting explanations, and I appreciate the fact that he's trying to put everything into context. But right now, I feel like even the journalist from the newsroom is trying to say, like, can you just say it straight that we did not say to the ANC that if you guys scrap all of these radical policies, we are going to support your budget. Because right now, I feel like we are not getting a straight answer to say that. We did not say that to the ANC. The ANC is lying. We did not say that to the ANC.
South Africa does not have an income problem. We've got an expenditure problem. And they just refuse. I mean, to come and again, to nitpick one item out of a document of 13 pages, and I've just read you that item. All the other items has also been rejected. So how do the ANC think they are going to govern this country together with us in a government of national unity if they bluntly refuse to implement any of the measures that we've put on the table? And again, let the minister try to explain to anybody that the Expropriation Act does not have a direct link to economical growth. And what we've put on the table there is not to withdraw the Expropriation Act, it's just to say, let the courts have the final say, not a government official. So what we've put on the table is extremely reasonable. It's not a total 180-degree turnaround of what the Expropriation Act is supposed to be there for. And it initially was supposed to be there to enhance things like putting up a power line or building a dam or building a road. But the ANC has politicized this by trying to fulfill their promise of zero compensation expropriation that they made when they promised the electorate that they would change Section 25 of the Constitution. And that is not what this is for. So what the DA have asked is, let us put measures in place that will enhance economical growth. And if the ANC does not want to do that, we cannot be culprits and co-conspirators with them in implementing a budget that will not work. We've seen over 30 years how the ANC have absolutely trampled on South Africa when it comes to a budget, and the DA will not be forming part of any such a budget that does not have economic reforms, cost-cutting measures, and job creation measures at the forefront of that budget.
So you're saying that they're also nitpicking at this one act and this one section of this 13-page document, but you're also nitpicking on the side of the nil compensation when it comes to the Expropriation Act as well. And that is it's in limited cases that we will see that happen, and under exceptional cases where there will be nil compensation. Why, as the DA, are you so adamant for this particular part of the Expropriation Act to be modified?
To enhance economical growth. If you talk about just and equitable compensation that can be determined by a court, every person in South Africa and out there in the wide world will see that they will still be protected. If you talk about a government official on any one of the three levels of government, whether it's national, provincial, or local, having the say in determining the amount without a court having the last say, it is contra economical growth. So what we've put on the table is extremely reasonable. We are a country that believes in our constitution. Our constitution talks about just and equitable compensation. Why change it? The president himself, President Ramaphosa, was part and center of the drafting of this constitution. Why don't he stick to what he signed and drafted in the beginning, many, many years ago, which we all believe in? Let him just stick to that. Let him give people the assurance that not a government official, but a court will have the final say. And I can promise you, Massa, that will increase investor confidence, which will in turn contribute towards a growth policy in this country, which we so desperately need.
Well,
the
obviously,
ANC cannot continue as if they are governing alone.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the DA knew that the ANC was never going to agree with these things that they said. The ANC, like he says, for the past 30 years, have actually made it very clear that They are not interested in actually growing the economy of this country. The reason why the ANC does not want to grow the economy of this country is because they know that if the economy of the country grows, the people will find jobs. And once people are working, they start to see the ANC for exactly what it is. So the ANC, what they want is that they want the people to continue depending on them. Because if we are going to sit here and pretend like the ANC doesn't know what needs to be done so that the economy can grow, we would be fooling ourselves. These people, they know exactly what needs to be done so that the economy can grow, but they are not willing to do that. They are not willing to do that because they want majority of the people in this country to depend on the state so that they can continue ruling the people. They know exactly what they are doing because it is like that. People, they love the ANC when they are unemployed, just like with the EFF. They love the EFF when they are in the colleges. They love the EFF once they are in the universities. But once they go out in the real world and starts to see how the real world actually operates, they hate these two political parties. The same thing with the ANC. When the people are unemployed and receiving all of these grants left, right, and center, they love the ANC because, yeah, we are sitting at home and for some reason this government is giving us money. But once the people start working by themselves, they can see that, okay, this is a rubbish government. This is a rubbish government. And the ANC does not want to grow the reason. They don't want to grow the economy for that. So I think, again, it was just a waste of time for the DA to actually write a letter to the president to say that this is what we can do to actually grow the economy of this country, because they should know that the ANC is not interested in actually growing the economy of the country. They should know. They should know. But guys, I'm still standing on that position that give us the letter. Give us the letter. This, she said, he said, it is not going to work for us.
You must realize.
Just in the interest of time, while I have you, I want to talk about the GNU. Where does that leave your relationship? Because it seems that you're skating on thin ice with each other here. You can't agree on anything since the GNU. The DA hasn't really been able to get their policies put forward and implemented in any way whatsoever. So where does this leave this relationship? Should your 13-page document not be taken into consideration?
Well, firstly, if the ANC doesn't care if South Africa becomes a wasteland, they just don't. They don't mind as long as it becomes an ANC wasteland. So we cannot go along with their policies. They need to listen to us. We are partners in their GNU. If the ANC is going to garner support from parties outside of the GNU, we will see that as a vote of no confidence within this GNU. And if they then garner support from parties outside of the GNU, they must go and try to govern this country with those parties.
Does that mean you'd be out of the GNU? Would that mean if the ANC does get other parties to back him on this budget, the DA then will see it as a vote of no confidence in the GNU and therefore break away?
If the ANC goes and work with parties from outside this government of national unity, why do they need us? Why should we be there? It is the ANC that is putting the GNU at risk by not listening to their partners, not negotiating in good faith. The Democratic Alliance has never negotiated this budget in the media. But what did the minister do today? He's negotiating it in the open public so that the media can see it. We see cabinet meetings as confidential. I'm not a member of cabinet. I don't even know, even though I'm the party spokesperson, what is being negotiated on cabinet level, because we respect the confidentiality thereof. So if the ANC wants to carry on, it is the ANC that is putting this government of national unity at risk. And they must ask themselves whether they are willing to govern this country with people that clearly wants to break this country. I must also say, Masa, that it's been clear, if you read the media reports, that all the parties outside of the government of national unity have rejected the ANC's plan. So the ANC must come and negotiate in good faith. From the Democratic Alliance's side, Masa.
And I don't think we should count on that, man. I don't think we should count on that, man. You're looking at that two political parties. You see those two political parties, the EFF and the MK party. I am not willing to bet on the fact that they are not going to support the budget. I honestly not willing to bet on that. I'm not willing to bet on the EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe party. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie. I'm not willing to bet on that. Like those two political parties, they make me very uncomfortable. They make me very uncomfortable. And to stab the DA in the back, I believe that those two political parties will do everything in their power to stab the DA in the back. I'm not willing to say that the EFF and the Umkhonto weSizwe party are not going to support the budget. Yes, I know this is what they said out in public, but I am not willing to bet on them. I'm not willing to bet on them.
So we know we are a 22% party. The ANC is a 39% party. The DA will not get everything that we want all the time. But so the ANC can also not get everything that they want.
But that is not true, man. The DA is not getting anything while the ANC is getting everything that they want. Looking at the GNU, the ANC has been able to implement its own policies. You remember when the GNU started? When the GNU started, that loud mouth of the ANC presidency person like Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, you remember what she said? She said that the political parties that are in the GNU, they are not going to implement their own policies. The GNU, it is going to implement the policies of the GNU. But looking at the GNU today, the ANC has been able to implement its own policies. The policies that have been implemented in the past couple of months, these are the policies of the ANC. The DA has not been able to implement not even a single policy. They have not been able to implement a single policy. To sit there and say that the DA cannot get everything that they want and the ANC also cannot get everything that they want, it is a lie, because if you look at the GNU, practically, the ANC has been able to get everything that they want. They've been able to get everything that they want, while the DA cannot even get a single thing.
ANC implements a budget with other parties. How can they expect the DA to be a passenger on that bus and go along? People will criticize us for doing that. How can we be part of a government where we weren't part of the drafting of the budget, which is at the essence of any government? So the ANC need to really realize now that they need to talk to us. We've got to do it in good faith. The Democratic Alliance is still open for talks. I saw that Mr. Fikile Mbalula this afternoon also said that the ANC is still willing to talk. So that is a good sign. And let us hope that we can sort this out. But if the ANC is going to get parties in from outside the GNU to pass this budget, then they are welcome to go and govern with those parties. We will not form part of a government where we were excluded in the formation of the budget. That must be made extremely clear.
Billy Okup, thank you so much for your time this
man, the thing with the ANC is that the ANC is not willing to compromise on anything. Because if you look at the budget, the DA wants the ANC to implement to table a budget that does not have the VAT increase. But if you look at the ANC wants to increase the VAT, and the ANC, because they are arrogant and cocky, they are not willing to even take a step back, because they believe that if they take a step back, the DA would have won. This is how the ANC actually views things. That's why I'm saying that this back and forth of the ANC and the DA, I don't understand how it is going to work, because they want two different things, and the ANC being the ANC, they are not going to step down. They are not going to go back. They are not going to do that, because the ANC sees everything as a competition. They see everything as a competition, and they are not willing to say that, no, okay, let's change this budget and actually implement a budget that is not going to have a VAT increase, because they believe that if they do that, the DA would have won. All these other political parties in the left, they are going to criticize them to say that, no, you guys are just in government. But truth of the matter is that the DA is running the things. So the ANC, with their fragile egos, they are not going to allow that. They are not going to allow that to happen. And you have the DA on the side that is saying that, guys, we can cut this, we can cut that, we can cut this, we can cut that, and we don't have to increase the VAT on the people. We can cut all of these things, and maybe we can get a bit of money. So they want two different things. They want two different things, and these two political parties are not willing to take a step back. They're not willing to take a step back, and I think this is the reason why the ANC is willing to go outside of the GNU, because they are not willing to allow the DA to win, because they see everything as a competition. That is the problem with these people. That is the problem with these idiotic cadres. They see everything as a competition. They see everything as a competition. They see everything as a competition. So the DA is not going to win. This is how they view things. No, we cannot allow the DA to win. No, we cannot allow this racist to tell us what to do. That's how they view things. That's how they view things. So it looks like we might be heading into an early election. But the way the ANC is so confident, I'm starting to believe that some people have actually made concessions, man. I'm starting to believe that there are political parties that have made concessions. I'm starting to believe that there are political parties that have made concessions. We must never undermine the ANC. We must never undermine the ANC and the length that these people are willing to go to get everything that they want. The ANC, the length that they are willing to go to get everything that they want, you must never undermine that. You must never undermine that. So guys, I don't know, man. The drama continues. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. The most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.